In this week's episode, we definitively answer the question, will the $100 GPW start? No, it won't. Not this engine, not ever. Let's find out why. This week, things get a little weird. As you remember, this was turning over just fine. Everything was good, we got full rotation, there was no problems. You'll notice that the oil bottle's back. Well, some stuff has happened. A very good friend of mine, Larry, came round and brought a start motor. And it fit. So I thought, this is fantastic. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was the right ring gear and it was all going to spin round and we weren't going to have any problems before we actually started shooting the video. And it wouldn't spin at all. All the cables got really hot, so I figured it was maybe a dud starter motor or it just needed going through. But no, as I investigate it more, the engine will turn round to a certain point and then just stops dead. So that's strange because we had full rotation before. So obviously the first thing you do is think, what's changed? You know, like it was working fine. And then we come back to it and suddenly it locks at one point on the stroke. Well, the only thing I could think of is I put the spark plugs back in it so that no dirt got in there. And of course, we bolted the starter motor up just to test it. So took the starter motor off, made no difference whatsoever. Took the spark plugs out, made no difference whatsoever. And now it is locked up solid again. Just no idea why. So I'm thinking right now that I want to see if maybe the valve train's locking or something. That if I can get this to come off. There we go. So nothing too scary in there. Some kind of little insect. Okay, so let's see what we can see under here. Oh, push rod's not terrible. It spins. So the idea behind these is they're meant to rotate. Ooh. That's not awesome. That shouldn't have a big gap there, and that rotates okay. It's a little bit stiff, but nothing scary. So, but I'm not seeing any smoking gun. I need to tap those with something that's not going to damage them. Let me go get something. I'll be right back. Okay, I got a hammer. We're gonna just see. This one's a bit trickier because I don't want to break the carb. I'm not super sure about that one. It just doesn't sound as good. There we go. That one was locked up pretty hard. Probably not what you should use for that, but it is what it is. Right, now we've freed that valve up. Have we got any movement? Nope, we're back to the waggling again. I honestly just don't approve of that. I know that this was rotating to a point and then stopped. So if I try and go anti-clockwise now and pull this back, it's just going to undo this knot. So bear with me a second while I grab a little bar to see if I can get on the tooth of the flywheel and then pull it back. Okay, we've got the little bar. We're going to see if there's anything I can just come off here to go anti-clockwise. What I don't want to do is lever off the distributor. That would be a bad plan. Yeah, my issue here is I don't have anything I can actually lever off. No, it's not going to happen. And yes, I could. I really don't want to break a tooth on that. But we'll just try a tiny bit of gentle persuasion. I think maybe felt like it moved. Maybe not. No, I'm just going to gall it up. This is my confused face. I am confused.
It's not a face I see very often.
I just don't know why it would have changed. It makes no sense to me. And so, if you have an interference engine, where you would have valves typically sat over the top of the piston, you can get into a situation where a valve will stick down, and as the piston comes up, it can't go any higher because it's hitting the top of it. And we see that a lot with some of the engines that come into us for rebuild. But the valves on this are nowhere near the pistons. They're over here. So that doesn't make any sense. There's nothing sticking down too far. And we've got rid of some of that slack there, but maybe this is still not popping back up far enough. I don't think that can touch it. I know the intake ones are a lot more over it than the exhaust, but still. It's not that close a tolerance. We are literally going backwards. I think maybe the only thing I can do is continue waggling. And see if it will free up again. Whatever it was that ended up seized will somehow come loose again. I've never had an engine do this. I've never had one where it freed up and then locked up again. This is very, very strange. I'm glad I took this cover off though, because we did find that stuck valve and that would have messed us up a little bit, although it could have freed up by itself. Things I'm planning to do in this video, if everything goes how we want, is I want to take this carburetor off, strip it down, put it through the ultrasonic bath. Ultrasonics are really good for cleaning carburetors. They're fantastic. They clean almost from the inside out, and the tiny little jets and things will get cleared out in a way that you just can't do it with any other method. I also want to pull the part number on the distributor, find out if it's a 6 volt or a 12 volt. And then obviously I'll just put a new coil on it and new spark plug wires. New spark plugs will give it the best chance it can. And we'll have to clean the points and clean that cap, or maybe put a new cap on it. That's all simple stuff. And wiring wise, these don't need much to run. They have one wire that makes these run. If it's not running, it's that wire. So this will just come through the ballast resistor and go back to the coil. And your coil will have positive from one side to it. The negative will come back to here. And as the points open, it will cause the coil to fire and send a spark down the line. Now, wherever your distributor is, your rotor arm will dictate at which cylinder it sends it to, but it's the simplest thing in the world. So all of that will be absolutely fine if we can get it to start spinning over again. That's a pretty big if, because it's cursed. Or, I mean, like, other than like aliens, what comes in and seizes an engine up in this short a time?
I don't know.
Isn't it weird?
It's so weird.
Anyway, I'm not going to bore you folks with the waggling. We'll do the waggling off camera. And just imagine me doing this for about the next 20 minutes.
No.
Or Lexi, it's going to be one of us. And then when we get some progress, we'll come back on and work through getting this thing running, hopefully. I mean, I think we should be able to do it though. So, see you in a mo. Okay, so I have found something very interesting. In fact, I found two things very interesting. So come in and have a closer look. So, the first interesting thing, as you'll see coming up on the screen, if I can do this, is if we look down here, you will see we basically have a garden growing down there. So we definitely 100% have to take that carb off. And you've got to ask yourself what's being pulled into the intake. So the sheer fact that all that is down there means it'll be in the engine as well. And on that very subject, if we go down in here and have a look, on this cylinder here, you can see the cylinder walls. Right down there you can see the piston, just the edge of it. We come out. Now have a look at number 2. Now there is something going on in number 2. And whatever it is not good. It's almost like a big piece of crud has fallen down and is jammed in there. And if you ever wonder why I have lots of oil stains on my t-shirt, this is why. So yeah, just don't know if I can get it in there, but yeah, there we go. There's a clear view of it. That thing there, I think, has dropped down and is stopping it moving. So what that means is the cylinder head's going to have to come off. And that's not really a phrase you ever want to hear, but it's the only way we're going to see what's going on in here. We've waggled this forever. It's not moving anymore. And there has to be a reason. And yeah, it could be low end, but at the moment I'm feeling, because of all that stuff that's come into it, that it's in the top end somehow. So I'm going to quickly whip all this off and let's see if we can see what's going on. It'd be super awesome if it came off in a way where we could save the cylinder head gasket, but it's certainly not going to turn over or start as it is now, so we will get on it. These ones at the back are a bit of a pain because you can't get the impact down on them. Oof, that's tight. Oh, you. This spun and start taking the bolts, and we'll come back to that. Let's rip this carb off. Come on. I had to saw through the bit that has a pipe underneath it, didn't I? Where's the brake then? This is where we find out that there is no brake and they just randomly put a piece of hose over it for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense. I mean, why? Why would you position that there? Okay. Come on. Bad things happen.
What'd you do?
Nothing. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So it wasn't as bad as I originally thought. I don't know if you can get in here and don't hit it with the camera because that would be bad. But when you look down the flap, you can see that that stuff is actually caked onto the flap. So a lot of it won't have gone into the engine. But clearly this was exposed, so water will have done. Just probably a little less. Oh, yeah. It'll be pretty interesting to see how bad there is. Can you see down the hole? Oh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's seen some water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 9/16. Oof. Oh. Long one goes in the back. You stay there. I bet it didn't want to stay on. I wonder why. Don't remember one flying off like that. Because there is a little lock screw in the top which the valve cover attaches to, and it's attached to there. So instead of doing its job and locking this to the shaft, it decided to leave the party early. So I'm going to keep these in order, vaguely, and when we pull them out we want to check that they're straight. Number one. And yeah, I do appreciate this hood is not straight. That's actually okay. Yeah, strangely fine. Two. A little bit of side wear. Nothing too terrible. The reason you keep them in order is because of sympathetic wear. When you put them back, you want to have everything to go together so that you end up keeping the wear patterns you've already got. If you put them back different, you'll end up with a lot of accelerated wear straight away while everything beds in for the first time again. If you're using new components, it does not matter. I was expecting one of those to be bent or messed up in some way, and they were actually pretty good. I can get a proper tap on these now and see how they sound. So, you see how this is a slightly deeper pitch, and then these are high pitched. That you can tell from that where the piston is in the bore. So then you know that these are low and that's high. And sometimes it can be because there's something wrong with them, but that's essentially what's happening there. What we really don't want to happen now is to have one of these bolts shear. I did put some penetrating spray on a little bit earlier and I've just left it to soak. Maybe that'll help. Sometimes they need heat, but we're just going to full send because of the time constraints. No, I've got to get on that properly. Can't do it from this angle. That junk out of the way. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to come back to that because I think I'm going to need a chrome. I don't have a problem. So, on these heads, you can get to this, well, you usually get a few more bolts out from this, but you'll get a stage where the head won't come off and it'll drive you crazy, you won't know why. And they've hidden a bolt down in here. You probably saw it earlier when we went in with the camera. And you definitely want to take this one out. Ooh. That's not good. I wonder if it's wouldn't be a smaller size, would it? Is that a thing? Maybe they are a smaller size. I think I vaguely remember that now. But I have to go get a chrome socket for this. Impact sockets have a much thicker wall on them. So I mean, obviously these are different sizes, but if you look at the wall thickness on a chrome, they're way thinner, and then an impact socket is actually a softer metal and it's a lot thicker. So when you can't get in because it's too tight, the only way you can do it is get in with a chrome wall socket. Way more chance of shearing it off though. That's the sneaky bolt. And I thought I'd brought out a big 3/8. I don't have one, I just have this. And this isn't really a breaking bolts kind of a thing. Although I did it. Anyone from Milwaukee's warranty department saw that, but that didn't happen.
I was just thinking I'd do that with my yellow one. Should I not be?
I'm sure it'll be alright. It's not mine, so I'm pretty relaxed about it.
And I don't think I have a warranty on it.
Oh, you'll have a year. I think they all have a year. Okay. We'll need to carefully remove this heat hose. There we are, removed. We're probably close enough to get a little bit of a wiggle on that. You can break your thermostat housing ports here really easily if you lever off them, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's see how that works out. If you soften it up with a dead blow, go all the way around, it usually helps a little bit, and you hit it all around that, and then you lever, and then typically you realise that you've forgotten one of the bolts and you undo it, and then it comes off really easily. Yeah. Oh, look at that. So this thing I'm levering off here, you definitely don't want to lever off under any circumstances. It's quite thin and it goes into the front of the head, and you can snap that off so quickly. Socket. That's there, and that's going to come out with the head. This is here, that's going to come out with the head. So now we just have to lift this up enough to clear these bolts, which may or may not work because that's how life is, and this lip's going to be in the way. You wonder why this is all crushed up, and whether it's all crushed up because they were doing something pretty similar when they got this engine in. Come on. It's not so much that it's heavy, it's just an awkward place, and I've got to pull completely up because of those studs. If I put something underneath it, I'll end up marring the gasket up. Don't want to do that.
It's so crazy it might just work.
If you're a shed collector, I apologise. Alright. It's not going to get up far enough. Ooh. I'll tell you what I'm curious about now. Oh, will you look at that? So, what we know is the seizing part of it was up here, because we are now able to turn it over again. But we do need, oh yeah, we do need to get this head off and clean everything up properly. And I'm guessing it's a bit of a pain because this wasn't really meant to be in here. We are gonna go with a OSHA approved technique for this next part. So let us set that up for you, and we'll come back, and then we'll probably, in an extremely unsubtle way, pull this head out. So yeah, watch this space.
Gentle persuasion.
Okay, this is probably not going to be super subtle. I put this round so it won't mar the head. I'll pull up on that. there's going to be some interference here. It's going to try and hit this. I think I've got it slightly to this side, so when we come up and clear these bolts, it shouldn't bend everything. It might. I might have to get new head bolts on it, but we'll. It's not coming out any other way right now. Alright, so plan is now just watch my feet and give it a little bit of a love tap just to straighten it up. We're still stuck on all those. Oh, it's gonna be a pig. Come over here and have a look at this.
Oh man.
Oh. Yeah. Oh dear. Try and pry the engine forwards against the body. These bodies will move a fair old way, so if I could tweak it backwards, might be enough just to free it up. Yeah, a bit of movement, but still cocked slightly. All right, I'm gonna give it a shake with a digger.
I'm gonna stand back.
I come over this way a bit, maybe. Oh. I mean, we got the shed. See? Perfect, no harm. Just don't ask me about the engine. Oh, yeah, so. We're not a million miles off. It's just those studs there. Super wow. Right, this might be the time for the bar again, so push it forwards. So this plan isn't going to work. It's tangibly close. I mean, it is so close. I feel if I could take these two studs out with a stud extractor, and I mean, and that's a heck of an ask, bearing in mind how rusted in there they are. They're the only two that's really being held up on.
It's time for us to stand back again. Seems like all you're doing is making a car marionette.
Yeah, I'd say that was fair. Let's see if those... While we're up here, let's just see if all those valves are moving. Oh, somebody's moved this car. Because that's not where I left that ratchet. Knock the dust out of it. Yeah, well, there's...
Oh yeah, look at him go.
Oh my life.
What is that?
Oh wow. Okay. Game over, man. Can you come in and see the crack here? Just watch this bucket. So I'm going to get the bore scope at the same time because I don't know how much you're going to get in at that. There is a point when you find out that something is not savable. Okay, so that right there, let's try and be professional about it. That right there is where the cylinder wall should be. That is ungood. It might even be a personal best, and it's a shame because these are pretty good. As I'm sure a lot of you have worked out, we have a full engine machine shop. It's what we do, it's our day job. So it's got me wondering, what do you folks want to see with this build going forwards? I have questions. Do you want us to pull that motor, bring it into the shop, and do a full post-mortem on it so you can just see all the gory details of how bad that engine is? We're not going to get that engine running. Yes, I could bore it, I could sleeve it. I don't even slightly want to. It will never work right. It will always be garbage. It's just a waste of time and effort. I do want to put a flathead in it. I do want it to be original. No matter where I go with this build, I would like to see an original, correct engine go into it. But I'm more than happy to do a full tear down on that old one if you folks want to see it. So please let me know in the comments if that's something you want us to do as a video, or whether you just want us to trash that engine and get on with the rest of the build. And on that subject, I'd also love to know whether you want us to get the Jeep running as it is, looking how it is, drive it around, do some things with it, get it mechanically restored, and have a good driving Jeep, or whether you would like to see us take it the full way, do a full restoration on it and bring it back, you know, as it should be. So please let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you folks want to see with this. And from that, we will make a decision and give you the content that you want.
Now we're on the hunt for a flathead. If you know of any near or around Montana for a sensible price, let us know. We don't really know what we're going to do for next week's video, so please like and subscribe, and we'll figure it out together. See you next week.